What's going on, everyone? I'm your comm director, Joey Bova, back for what SGA has to say. It's been a while, but we got a good one today. Today I'm joined by President Dr. Brussalis on the show. How are we doing today?
Hey, Joey, great. How are you doing?
Not bad, not bad.
That's
We
good.
were just saying it's a good Monday, so don't have any complaints about today.
Yeah, it is a good Monday. Sun came out, so
No rain,
No
or
rain.
minimal rain at least.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you introduce yourself to the people if you have any other things you want to let people know about yourself. But
Yeah,
floor is yours.
so Chris Brussalis, the 9th president of Point Perk University, and I've been at this now for a little over 13 months. And before that, I was on the board of trustees for about 4 years, and I'm having the time of my life.
I believe it. What does it mean to you to be, you said the 9th president. There's a long line of presidents that have been before you. So what does it mean for you to finally be here and take that sort of role on?
It's an incredible honor. It's an incredible honor, incredible privilege, and I think that the stars have really aligned here with the opportunity that we have before us as a university, as the downtown university, and as we're positioned, in the heart of downtown, and as these downtowns, these urban centers transform in the post-pandemic world, and I've talked about this, across the media, as these downtowns transform, they're going to be driven by the creator economy. They're going to become centers of arts, entertainment, recreation, and guess what? That happens to be our sweet spot as a university. And so we're really taking advantage of this, of this opportunity that the university is situated here, and I truly believe that Point Perk University will be a catalyst in Renaissance 3 in Pittsburgh and the Pittsburgh region.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I was actually going to bring up, I was just reading an article that I believe the title was New President Wants Downtown to be a Catalyst. Like building more off of that, like what does that mean, being that we're the only campus in downtown Pittsburgh? I know Duquesne's out in the Bluff and Pitt out in Oakland, but for us to be in the center of the city, surrounded by businesses with all the opportunities that the school provides, like what is... I guess I understand the overarching goal, but what does it mean for you as the president, and then explaining to the people for the campus to be the main catalyst?
So, in this post-pandemic world, the office workers aren't going to come back in droves, right? And so, we are so well positioned that we have students here, and we have an opportunity to grow this university, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to this first wave. We're going to bring another 1,000 people living downtown. And after we pull that off, we're going to bring another 1,000. Who else? No one else has the opportunity to do that, to create sustainable living in downtown Pittsburgh, but us. And so that's how we're going to pull it off. The other great synergy that we have, that we've been taking advantage of and we're going to continue, is that, our mission is all about, inspiring imagination, innovation through experiential learning. To advance society. And so that experiential learning, we have co-ops now available throughout the entire university. We encourage our students, as soon as they come in freshman year, do job shadows, do internships, and hopefully by junior year, they're going to have one, and hopefully by the time they graduate, 2 co-ops under their belt. And where else can you step out of your apartment, out of your residence hall, and not only walk to class, but walk to a major employer and do a co-op? So we're going to take advantage of that. The other thing that we're going to do is, bringing more people downtown, we want to create more living on campus. We want to create more of a residential campus community here. And so, part of that play is we'd love to have mixed generational housing. We would love, one of the areas we're growing is through our conservatory. We'd love to have artists in residence, to artists who are professional, who are performing in the assets in the cultural district right next door, who can work with and mentor our students, in the conservatory. We'd like to have, we're a collaborator with all the other universities in the region, Pittsburgh Scholar House. I understand there are 300 single parents on waiting lists wanting to start degrees. We would love to have those single parents and their families live on our campus.
Most definitely.
We'd love to have retirement living on campus. And so we want to make it a more, robust, dynamic environment. And part of that is also, what we're doing in athletics. I mean, athletics adds so much, vibrancy
Mm-hmm.
to a campus. And you look, ever since we made the announcement that we are moving from the NAIA to the NCAA Division II, ever since we've made that announcement, we've been getting more play on the local media
Mm-hmm.
than we ever really had in our
Yeah.
history. And we have outstanding teams, and we're going to be ready to roll. We're going to be ready to compete, and we're going to compete well. But that move alone will significantly enhance the visibility of this university. It will enhance the value of every single student and every single alumnus degree.
Mm.
Just that move alone, which is huge for us.
Well, you mentioned athletics, and I was gonna segue into a second part of that, but I know you were talking about getting involved in inclusiveness on campus. I know one of the main things that I've been seeing is the pact between CCAC and, I believe, Highlands University or Pennsylvania
Yeah.
Highlands. What is that like? I know I was reading on it on LinkedIn, and it definitely looks super beneficial, and it really looks good
Yeah.
for not only us, but the students that are going to be transferring from CCAC or Pennsylvania Highlands. So what was the process like going through that, and then also what does that mean not only for us but the connections that we now have with CCAC Allegheny and Pennsylvania Highlands?
So one of our goals was to develop articulation agreements with every community college in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And I think we have them all locked in, except for one that we're still working on. But what that will do, it's a tremendous opportunity for basically all residents in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. If you attend a community college and you put 2 years in and you get an associate's degree that has some alignment with the degrees that we offer here, and we have over 100, degree offerings, you will get, it'll be very transparent and clear that you will get credit for those. So if you put 2 years in, you get an associate's degree at community college, for example, of Allegheny County, you will have 2 years under your belt at Point Perk University, and you'll be able to finish that degree hopefully under 2 years or under. And that's the goal. And we want it to be very clear, very clear, transparent process that will hopefully enable going to college more affordable.
I know like one of the big main things that you're pushing for is like more students coming onto campus. Is there any like projections that you think that bringing those students, the CCAC students and everyone else from community college, like, do you think that'll bring more and more as years go on, or?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think that'll be the case. We've also, since I've come on board, we've really changed a lot of the way we do things, right? New strategies in place. And, a big area of emphasis for us is in enrollment because, as part of our strategic plan, we're going to grow the university. We need to increase enrollment. We have capacity for it, and it needs to be sustainable growth. Growth that we can manage and growth that's sustainable. And so if you just look at our campus visits so far this year, I mean, our open houses, we've had, I think, 3 open houses this year. Our attendance at open houses is up 89% over last year. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's unheard of, really.
89%,
I had data in the month of January. We were up in visits in the month of January, 150% over the previous January. So we're really, looking at those lead business indicators. It's really making a difference. And if those students set foot on campus, there's a higher probability that they're obviously going to apply and going to attend. Now, there's a wrench that's thrown into the works with every higher education institution across the United States, and that is the federal government's management of the FAFSA system. And they were migrating to a new system, and it didn't go well as an absolute understatement. And so normally those students will receive their aid packages, federal aid packages, in October, November, and we're now pushing into April, and they're finally starting to come in some dribs and drabs. And even those that are coming in, we're getting follow-up caveats. Oh, by the way, this data's off. You can't use this. And so it's a nightmare for every college and university in the United States. And the folks that are suffering are those students, prospective students and their families that need the aid, and it's shameful what's happening. So we're doing everything we can. We're probably better equipped than most universities to provide very quick turnaround when we get the data from the federal government to get these aid packages out. But yeah, we're working hard.
So going back to athletics, I know you said that's a big thing that's bringing a lot more attention to campus. Our basketball team just won conference championship. Yeah. Our indoor and outdoor track teams are electric all the time. Yeah. Our baseball team won last year.
We had 4 teams in the top 25 of the NAIA.
Our athletics really did some of the best that I've ever seen in my 4 years here. I know you said bringing a lot more attention. What is it with the move? I know there's rules and regulations that campuses and universities have to follow to make the initial move to the NCAA and be recognized. What do you think is going to be one of the main differences, whether it's competition or just athletics in general as a whole on campus once we make that move going into the fall?
So one big difference, and this is a benefit to our student athletes, it's going to really improve the experience for those student athletes. In our current conference, in the River States Conference, the NAIA, our average one-way travel time was 4 hours and 40 minutes, one way. And so moving into the Mountain East Conference, the NCAA Division II, that goes down from 4 hours and 40 minutes to 1 hour and 40 minutes. So that's one way. So every time our teams compete, on average, we're going to save them 6 hours of travel time. That's almost a day. And so if they're competing twice a week, that's almost 2 days. That's 12 hours, right? And so, that will, greatly, eliminate a lot of the stress and rigor of travel, and it's also, enhances safety. I mean, it's never safe to travel anywhere. So that's a huge thing for us. The other thing this enables us to add more athletic programs. And so, we weren't able to add new sports in the NAIA, so we're adding men and women's lacrosse, men and women's wrestling, men and women's tennis, and also the closer proximity we are to folks in our conference, we will enable those teams and their fans to come to Pittsburgh, as well as our students and fans to travel to see them compete. And we'll also be able to compete in interconference play. So that with, for example, there are a lot of schools in the state system, the PASHE system, California's nearby, Slippery Rock, all those schools are Division II schools, and we'll be able to compete with them interleague play, which is outstanding. So there'll be more flow, across campuses to watch these teams compete, and it's a big benefit to our new members that we're going to join up with in the Mountain East, because it gives a lot of those schools are in West Virginia, kind of clustered around Morgantown. It gives them access to the Pittsburgh market. I mean, those teams can't wait to travel to compete with us in Pittsburgh. So it's a great opportunity for us all the way around.
I know I was talking to, I think it might have been Dean Palo. He was telling me that one of the things that he heard was that Point Perk's ahead of the game when it comes to like broadcasting, social media, communication side of things. Do you think, obviously with the edge that we have with the communications department and how we sort of run things here with sports communications, do you think anything different will happen going into next year? This past year we would have doubleheaders for basketball or doubleheaders for soccer, or traveling for baseball, or whatever it may be. But do you think we have some, obviously, biasly, I think we have an advantage just because of how good I think our program and our students are. But do you think, you mentioned accessing the Pittsburgh markets, they'll be able to learn something from us?
We have a huge reputation as it is in sports communication and broadcast. Sports broadcasting in particular, huge reputation. And look at the pedigree. Look at all the the alumni that we have coming from Point Perk in those fields. But I was just reading an article where Point Perk was mentioned, a school in California, and there's something, I can't remember the details of the article, but something going on in the arts, and this individual was in California, and they were talking about how they're going to be going to Point Perk next year, studying sports, studying communication, particularly interested in sports communication. So this will be huge for us. The Mountain East Conference has its own network, and we're going to plug right into that. We're already, supplementing and doing a lot for the ACC network. Our colleagues at the University of Pittsburgh. So this will create more opportunities for us. I mean, adding those programs,
Yeah.
that's 6 more teams now will have an opportunity to cover. So it's just a great opportunity for our students overall.
Most definitely. I'm excited to see lacrosse and wrestling. Most definitely. I just shot my first lacrosse game the other day, and I don't know how any of it works. I was trying to ask people what the rules were, and I was like, I don't know how this works. People were subbing in and out. I was like, so it's like hockey, but then it's like soccer, but then it's like football because you can hit people. But whenever I remember hearing the announcement that wrestling and tennis and lacrosse were going to be added, and no football. We couldn't do football.
Hey, never say never.
I like
never
that.
Never say
I
never.
Like
that. We're right now we're looking at some opportunities. We need more playing space.
Yeah.
Undercover. Outdoor playing space, and so we're looking at some options right now. And who's to say in the future? Right, if we can get the facilities.
Point Perk football team.
I just think athletics adds so much to the campus environment, and it just for those, not just for the student athletes, but all of the other disciplines that support that as well, the academic disciplines. Yeah. I mean, and it's big, and just the visibility. I mean, we live, it's a heavy sports culture in this country, and particularly in this region. And so when you're able to see, your school is projected, on television, radio, and newsprint, every day, every other day, I mean, there's value to that. Right?
Most definitely. I believe Andrew Stockey said it, the best team in the Berg. And I've never heard anyone say
amazing?
I've never heard anyone say anything like that. And I'm a huge Point Park fan, obviously. But whenever I heard that on the news, I was like, whoa.
Isn't that amazing?
People are finally starting to recognize that we're really,
and it was
really
after
good.
we made that announcement of going to the NCAA that we get that. First time ever in our school's history, we had top of the fold in the PG sports section. I mean, amazing. Absolutely amazing. And we've always had great teams.
Yeah.
But now they're going to get the recognition that they truly deserve.
Most definitely.
And then recognition for the entire university, student body, faculty, and staff.
No, most definitely. So switching gears off of athletics, is there anything happening on campus that you think students should be aware of, whether it's good, it's bad? I know graduation is coming up. Anything that you've heard within the last, I guess, month, couple weeks?
Yeah, I mean, it's all good. And, my focus, and, in addition to, to focusing on the internal operations university, I'm also out hustling, right? I was in recently I was in Washington, D.C. Last week I was in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania for about 3 days.
We were down in Bradenton in February.
Yeah, we were down in Bradenton together in February. So a big part of my job is being out and about. Bradenton, we're supporting, you guys were helping to run the Bradenton Regatta. I was down there meeting with a lot of donors, a lot of our alumni. They become very successful. They move down in Florida, so we're meeting with them. We're talking to them about the vision. We want them to invest in Point Park. We also hosted, several alumni receptions down there, and then we had an opportunity to spend some time with both our men's baseball and women's softball teams down in Florida. So it was a great visit. But spending time in Washington, D.C., met with the U.S. Secretary of Education, had a briefing on what was going on with FAFSA, met with legislators down there. Like I said, I was in Harrisburg last week for 3 days. I met with several legislators, state officials, and I met with Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis, who used to be on our board of trustees. And it's all about promoting and talking about the vision of how Point Park will be a catalyst in Renaissance 3 and some of the initiatives that we have planned.
Speaking about the vision, I know you guys fully announced that within the last few months. What are you most excited for about the vision? Obviously, you could say everything, but
about the vision
for the school for the next couple of years, is there anything in particular that
vision.
You're particularly excited for? Obviously, I'm excited to see everything that I've seen in the emails that you guys have sent out. I'm excited for all the changes and everything that's coming for the next however many years. But do you have anything in particular that you're excited for?
Yeah, I'm just really excited about the changes we're making with enrollment. We're hoping this this works out with the FAFSA and it doesn't put a kink in the works. I'm excited to grow this university. I know that we have a product that people around the country want.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what we do is distinctive. I mean, we talk about experiential learning, but we walk the talk. A lot of schools are now using those words for the first time.
Yeah.
It's part of our DNA. We've always done this. And so, just really excited about that. Another big initiative we have coming on, I think it's the last week of April into May 3rd, I think. That's Sunday through Friday. It's a big initiative. We are hosting a Urban Land Institute panel study.
Okay.
And the Urban Land Institute is a network, an association of urban planners, architects, developers around the United States. Mm-hmm. And this, I think, is the 7th or 8th opportunity they've convened a panel to focus in Pittsburgh. And so we're bringing a panel of about 30 experts from around the country, and it's a very robust stakeholder engagement process over that entire week, where they are going to come and focus on Point Park and our position in downtown and our potential to be what I've been calling this catalyst of Renaissance 3. And so they've identified, numerous stakeholder groups. And so this panel is going to interview and meet with stakeholders across the board in our region. And they're going to assess, the assets of the university, assess the condition of downtown, and they're going to, at the end of this week, have a series of recommendations for us in the region of how, Point Park may be this driver, may be this catalyst of regional economic development. So that's huge. We use this ULI panel study process probably about 16, maybe 18 years ago, when we envisioned the academic village concept. That's when we really started to grow the university. And I was a consultant at that time working for the university, working with President Paul Hennigan. And so, almost 20 years later, we're going to bring that process back and for the next resurgence of Point Park University.
That's crazy. It kind of puts things into perspective. You said almost 20 years that this has kind of just been in the works, and now, I mean, it's finally happening. That's got to be really exciting, especially because you were saying like the planning and the process of everything going into it. And I mean, that's a long time, but
20 years ago almost, we started this first resurgence about 18 years ago, and we used this ULI panel study to engage stakeholders and get their input, get their expertise, and we developed this amazing plan on, the academic village concept of growing the university, and here we are now 18 years later, and we're doing it again for the next big resurgence, but this resurgence is not just going to focus on growing Point Park University, it's going to focus on us. Being a driver of regional economic development, particularly in this downtown area.
Most definitely. Well, I know you're a busy guy, so I got some fast facts, if you will. I've pulled a couple SGA members, and we just got a couple for you. It could either be one-word answers, they could be long form. They're more Point Park related.
Okay.
So, what's your favorite sports team to watch on campus?
Well, they're all my favorites. I seriously, my family and I, we try to get out and watch every single team as much as possible. So should
all of you. All of you should watch it.
We try to, and now we're so excited because now we're going to be able to drive. To watch our teams play, and we, those opportunities are few and far between. Just because of the distance, and then my schedule is absolutely crazy. But I love them all. But I'm a little partial. So in college, I ran cross country and track, and I was a wrestler. So I'm a little partial for track.
The new wrestling program.
I'm excited about that.
That's good.
And I'm a youth wrestling coach, so
even better.
Yes, I'm really excited about that.
So what is your favorite dining hall or cafe option? I know we have a lot of new foods in the dining hall and some newer options in the cafe, so you could pick between the two.
So I know, I hear, and I was in college as well, and people like, well, the dining hall. I absolutely love the dining hall.
I know. I haven't had any bad experiences.
And I eat at some of the finer places in town because I have to do that, hobnob and wine and dine, right? Raising money. But I I think we have some of the
Mm-hmm.
best food in our dining hall, and I love the soups in particular.
The soups.
I really like soups.
Every
And
time I walk through, I look at the soup to see what the soup is. I didn't have any today, but I've been enjoying the dining hall recently. I know, like you say, like a lot of, and that's one of the main things that at least SGA has been focusing on is the dining hall. And I mean, I haven't had a meal plan since my freshman year,
it was like
2020.
a southwestern rice soup today, and it was awesome.
Really?
The chicken, yeah, it was awesome.
I might have to go back after this and get some. But I haven't had any complaints with the dining hall or the cafe. I mean, I don't have a
Well, we
meal
made
plan,
some
but-
improvements at the beginning
Oh,
of the year
yeah.
in the dining hall as well. You know, kind of gave it a facelift, and you know, I'm the kind of guy I always have to have a television on and some sports in the
Yeah.
background, and we put those panel TVs up in the dining hall. So hopefully people are appreciating those.
Oh, I love it. I there was a game on a couple weeks ago. I think it was like an old Steelers game. Someone looked up and they're like, "What is this?" I was like, "Oh, this is blah blah blah, whatever Steelers AFC Championship game or something." I was like, "Don't talk back on it." What's your go-to Point Perk order? I know it's a Starbucks, but do you have a specific order that you get whenever you go there?
Yes, a black unsweet iced tea.
Okay.
That's it.
Iced tea? Are you a coffee guy or just
No,
I'm
just
more
iced
of an
tea.
iced tea guy.
I've never drank coffee.
Really, I
Never.
don't really drink coffee either.
I love the smell of coffee. I never really drank it. Don't have the desire, but I love the smell of coffee. But I'm an iced tea guy.
Okay. Do you like Turner's?
No, unsweet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That's
unsweet.
fair. All right.
I have to watch my figure. You know, I'm getting
That's
old.
true. That's true. All right, last one. This isn't a school-related one. Since you're the president, what's your favorite U.S. president of all time?
Of all time, I'd say Harry S. Truman.
Any particular reason, or just cause?
I just admired some of the actions that he took, and his motto, at least he had on his desk plate, the buck stops here. He had to make some tough decisions, and he had to make some tough calls, against a very popular, well-liked general, but he really set a strong standard and precedent for what a chief executive of the United States is all about. And so I've always been preferential to Harry S. Truman, and of course, George Washington is up there, and Abraham Lincoln.
That's a good response.
Yeah.
That's a really good response. Well, that's all that I have. I appreciate you for taking the time out of your incredibly busy schedule to sit down and talk to me. That's what SGA had to say. That's what President Brussalis had to say. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I think, honestly, this might be my last one. I've been trying
Is that right?
It might be. I don't.
Wow.
I know a couple people have been asking. We've had some technical difficulties with some of the stuff, but I don't know. It might be.
This will be epic then.
Yeah, this
right?
will have to be the best, especially because I'm graduating.
That's
Like,
awesome.
I think this may be the last one. It was probably. I mean, this is probably my favorite one.
Wow, what an honor for me.
I know it's an honor to have you on. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Joey.
But yeah, that's all we have for this week.
Go Pioneers.
Go Pioneers. Appreciate it, everyone. Thank you.